Are you still struggling with hair loss or slow growing hair and can't quite seem to figure out why? Well, maybe it's your vitamin D. Hey guys, Karen with Curl House. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a certified trichologist, and the owner of the Curl House product line and the Curl House Academy Let's Get Growing program. And today we are going to talk about vitamin D in your hair. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about me. I actually have a special guest that I'm going to bring on today. Her name is Robin Mohammed. She's the owner of Necessary Nutrition. She's a certified nutrition specialist, and she is going to break down vitamin D. So as a trichologist, I see women all the time who are struggling with hair loss, and one of the reasons that they are dealing with hair loss is because they have a deficiency in their vitamin D. Now, what Robin is going to do, she's going to break that down even further. She's actually going to tell you 7 things that you didn't know about vitamin D. So let's get started. Okay, I had to bring you on my channel so that you can talk more about vitamin D because you are the specialist. This is your thing. So I want you to share with us everything you know about vitamin D, particularly as it relates to the hair. So tell me, why is vitamin D important, not just for your hair, but for your health as well?
Yeah, vitamin D doesn't get the talked about as much as I feel like it should. So it's important for your hair. I'm going to simply say it this way. If you don't get enough vitamin D, then you can experience hair loss. I mean, that's simple with your hair. And the vitamin D is very critical to so many other parts of your your body, your brain, your immune system. People know it for their bones, it's your skin, your blood sugar. The list goes on and on. If people knew how critical it is, not just for your hair, but for your whole body, we would take it more seriously.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us the 7 things you didn't know about vitamin D in hair?
The number one thing is deficiency can cause hair loss. So if your hair is coming out, I want you to take a look at your vitamin D. If it's thinning, if it's coming out, I'm going to repeat that. Take a look at your vitamin D. A lot of people don't know that, don't think about that, have no idea what vitamin D can do with that hair. Yeah, you were going to say something?
I'm listening, but I'm like, you said take a look at vitamin D. What does that mean? Like, do you mean get a blood test to take a look
Yes.
at vitamin
Yeah.
D? And what should we be looking for in a
So,
blood test?
so you definitely want to take a blood test. And then as I go through some of the other things, you'll realize, oh, okay, I'm not doing these things. So as I go through this list and you realize that you're not doing what I'm mentioning, then it's more likely that your vitamin D is low. So
Okay.
when you go to your doctor, you want to ask them to do your
Okay.
vitamin D, take your blood and get your vitamin D levels checked. That is like very, very important. A lot of times people go to doctors, they don't ask for that, or the doctor doesn't offer it for them. And
Okay.
remember, it's an easy deficiency to have and an easy one not to have. So start with that.
Okay. All
Get the
right.
blood work checked.
Okay.
And I'll talk about, after I go through the 7 things, what the level should be, because that's really helpful. Number 2, and we're relating this back to the hair, but think of this. People think, oh, I can get vitamin D from food. Not so much. There's very small amounts in food like dairy, egg yolk. You can find it, but it's not substantial enough to move that needle. And so I want people to know that the best place to get your vitamin D is the sun and the supplement. So if you're thinking about your hair, which we all are, then you want to say, okay, what am I in the sun? Or am I taking supplements? Like, am I getting my vitamin D at all? Am I getting enough? Number 3, your skin tone will affect how your body absorbs vitamin D. So if you have darker pigmentation, then your body is less efficient and less effectively getting the vitamin D into your body at a cellular level. So I repeat that. If you're in the sun, but you have darker skin, then it's going to affect that. Because someone might say, well, I'm in the sun, but I have darker skin, but I'm in the sun. Why isn't this working? That is a reason, because your skin tone affects your level.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4 is that in the winter, depending on when someone is listening to this, in the winter, 2/3 of the country doesn't even get the sun at all. So in parts of the country, depending on where you are, in the winter, you can't even get it from the sun because it's not even available for you. So now if you're in Florida or California or Hawaii, you still can get some. But if you are in, let's say, Boston or on the East Coast, in the winter months, getting it from the sun is not even an option for you. People don't realize that in the winter months, you really, really need to supplement in the winter months.
Okay.
And then I think we're on number 5. The vitamin D is most available between 10 and 2. So maybe we go walk, right? Maybe we go walking early in the morning, or we are going walking in the evening. But the best way to get that vitamin D, if you're getting it from the sun, is between 10 and 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what the 7 things you don't know about vitamin D, right? So
I didn't
again,
know that.
yeah, if we're thinking our hair, I want my hair to be the healthiest, and we're like, I'm getting my vitamin D, I'm out there in the morning, not so much. Not so much. And number 6 is vitamin D is actually a hormone, even though it's called vitamin D. It's a hormone. And that means that your cells, so many of them, your genes, the way they express themselves, need vitamin D in order for them to do that properly. And unlike other vitamins, a hormone means it's a precursor, right? So that's what vitamin D is. Even though it's called vitamin D, it's actually a hormone. And you need the vitamin D in order for the rest of your body to behave. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then number 7, I gotta look like 1, 2, I gotta make sure I'm on number 7 is vitamin D is best taken with K2. And what does that mean? And what is that all about?
Go ahead and explain that.
So, and I want this to make sense. So in our bloodstream, we have calcium. So we eat certain foods, we have dietary calcium.
Mhm.
And that dietary calcium needs to go into our bones where it's most effective. The calcium needs to go into our bones and away from other organs, but it's out there willy-nilly. When you have vitamin D, so vitamin D is necessary, coupled with K2, helps to get that calcium and put it where it needs to go. So D and K help the calcium get to where it's a conductor. It's telling it where to go. And if you are a woman in midlife, you're over 40, we need that more than ever for bone health, bone support, and all of those things. So when we do not have the K, then our calcium is willy-nilly out there in our body trying to figure out where to go. That K helps it. And a lot of people don't know that. If you go to the store, you're going to see vitamin D, but you will not necessarily see the K. And because my expertise is vitamin D, but it's also helping women in midlife with reducing symptoms related to perimenopause and menopause, I'm always honed in on what do we have to do to make ourselves better. So those are the 7 things. I got to do 7, right? I think
You did 7. You did.
7 things. So if you want to make sure your hair is strong, one of the things, there are obviously several other things and other nutrients to support the hair, but that vitamin D is important. You want to get your levels checked. You want them to make sure that you are in the sun and supplementing. Supplementation really does support you in a way that, again, most of us, if we're working inside, if you have darker skin, there's so many barriers to getting the vitamin D sustainably from the sun. It's there, but a lot of us are not getting it.
I asked you earlier about blood work and what our level should be at, but in addition to that, how much vitamin D should we be taking each day via supplement?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with what should your levels be? So I'm just going to use simple. I'm not going to get all technical, but let's use the number 30. So when you get your blood work run, that 30 is that benchmark. So if you're anything below 30, you are deficient.
Okay.
Deficient. So if you're in the 30s, I like to say that's like minimum wage. You're not deficient, but you're not maximally supportive. Not deficient, but you're not maximally supportive. So when you get in the range between 60 and 80, your body is maximally supportive. And you will not know that unless you go and get your blood work done. If you're under 30, you're like really not, you're in deficient. So now if you look at that and you say, okay, I'm at 35, but I know I want to be in the 60s range. That's when you want to take more. So I always, because people say, well, how much should I take? And those that are listening, I don't know you personally, right? And there's so many things that go into how much you should take. So I always tell people, if you have no idea where you are, you've not gone to get your blood work done, you know good and well you're not in the sun, you don't know. You start with, I would say 2,500 IUs.
Okay.
So that's mid-range. It's not too high, it's not too low. Once you know where you are, that's when you know what to do. So if you know that you want to raise it, then you can go to about 5,000 a day.
Okay.
If you're way low, you're going to have to do a mega dose. You're going to have to put a lot of vitamin D in your body to get it up and then taper off. So I'm going to repeat, if you know not where you are at all, then you start off with 2,500 IUs. If you know that you are really low or you know that you want to raise it, then you will take 5,000 IUs. That's what I take. So before I was not in the 65 range, and now I take 5,000 every day, and that's where I stay.
Okay.
That's where I stay. But and that's a safe way to approach it. You want to check with your provider.
Okay, ladies, if you're dealing with hair loss and you haven't quite figured out why, I encourage you to get your vitamin D checked. Even if you go to the doctor and they don't recommend that you get your vitamin D checked, then request it, because clearly it is, and it may be a root cause to why you are dealing with hair loss. And if you are looking for a vitamin D supplement, I encourage you to consider Necessary Nutrition. I'll put the link to her vitamin D below, and I'll also put it right above so that you can check it out as well. All right, guys, if you don't know by now, I'm in the process of relaunching my Curl House product line. It is coming this summer. If you have not joined the wait list so that you can be notified about the relaunch party, then I encourage you to click on the link below. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss a video in the future. And until we talk again, stay fabulous.